Hello, I am the Marstamp. On the 28th of May 2019, an inquest in Cornwall reported on the sad case of 23-year-old Amy Morby, who died as a result of an overdose. She had received treatment at the emergency department in Truro 3 times in 4 days in September 2018. A week later, she died of a 4th overdose. The inquest reported that she was a patient of the local community mental health team and had been assessed by the hospital psychiatric liaison team. The hospital assessor stated that Amy was treated at Treliske's emergency department following deliberate overdoses on 5 occasions during 2018. Including 3 times between September the 2nd and the 6th, just a week before she died. He said that she was not acutely mentally ill. Amy's problems were psychosocial stresses. Life was hard and she was going through a difficult time. The manager of the community mental health team said the team was shocked by her death, as they did not consider the overdoses on September the 2nd, the 4th and the 6th were actual suicide attempts. It was concluded that Amy was probably suffering from a borderline personality disorder. There is unfortunately nothing out of the ordinary in this narrative. Many people suffering from a wide range of mental health problems make attempts to end their lives, and some are successful. Mental health services do try to help people at risk of suicide, but it's not always possible to achieve this. Also, unfortunately, identifying that a patient has a personality disorder, in particular an emotionally unstable or borderline personality disorder, is often used as an excuse not only not to compel treatment, but also to decline to offer treatment. However, there was one sentence in this report that particularly struck me. The inquest heard that Amy couldn't be sectioned under the Mental Health Act as she had full capacity and wanted to continue working with the mental health team. It's not reported who said this in the inquest, but I know that many AMPs would disagree. For a start, I'm reminded of the case of Kerry Wolterton, who I've written about several times on my blog. She was allowed to die in hospital after drinking antifreeze on the basis that she had made an advanced decision to refuse treatment. The coroner in her case stated Kerry had capacity and she could not therefore be treated. As I've said before, it's not uncommon to assess someone under the Mental Health Act who is either seriously planning suicide or has taken an overdose of a noxious substance and is refusing treatment. Capacity is not an essential factor in these assessments. Nowhere in the Mental Health Act is capacity mentioned in this context. The requirement is for someone to have a mental disorder within the meaning of the Act, which is very broad, and to be in need of assessment and/or treatment. Detention under either Section 2 or Section 3 of the Mental Health Act would then provide a legal framework to provide assessment and, if necessary, treatment against the will of the patient. This is not to suggest that mental capacity has no part in decision making about use of the MHA. Indeed, there is an interface between the Mental Health Act, which is about mental disorder, and the Mental Capacity Act, which of course is all about mental capacity. This is reinforced by a considerable quantity of case law, including AM v Slam and Cheshire West. The case law makes a distinction between objecting and non-objecting patients, and capacitous and non-capacitous patients. A non-objecting capacitous person can be treated in hospital for mental disorder without recourse to the Mental Health Act. But both an objecting capacitous person and an objecting non-capacitous person may be detained for assessment and treatment under the Mental Health Act, and in many situations should be, if it is the only means by which they can receive the assessment and treatment they require. Whether deemed to be capacitous or not, Amy Morby could have been made subject to a section of the Mental Health Act. That decision should perhaps have been allowed to have been made by an AMP and 2 psychiatrists. Well, if you have been, thank you for listening. And if you've found anything that I've said entertaining or informative, please don't forget to like and subscribe.